Writing effective Excel VBA macros requires two related but distinct skills. The first skill is knowledge of the Excel object model so you can identify and manipulate the objects you need to create your solution. The second skill is efficiency. You need to be able to write code that runs quickly, but that also can be written and read quickly. The less time you spend writing your code, the more time you'll have to work on other tasks. One way to increase your programming efficiency is to use with and with blocks in your code. Rather than create an example by hand, I'll show you what happens when I record a macro that has me changing two aspects of the value in cell A1. So to start, I will record a macro, and I'll call it make big. Now I'm going to change the display of the value in cell A1. First, I'm going to change the font to Cambria, and then I shall make it 18 point instead of 11. That's all I need for demonstration purposes. So I will stop recording the macro and then go in to give you a look at what it did. So let's see how Excel interpreted my actions into VBA code. I'll make this window a little larger so you can see more of the code. My first action was to change the font from Calibri to Cambria. So when I did, Excel recorded all of the aspects of the font in cell A1 and did assign the font name of Cambria. Nothing else changed, but Excel still recorded it just in case something did change. Now let's see how the with and with statement works. In this case, Excel has with selection.font. That means that all of these properties below hang off the right side of this statement here. So for example, if you were to write this whole thing out, instead of .name, it would be selection.font.name, selection.font.size, and so on. Now the second change that I made was to change the font size from 11 to 18. Excel recorded the macro, and it recorded, again, every aspect of the font in that cell. So the font name is still Cambria, the size is now 18, and everything else remains unchanged. And once again, it uses the with and with statement to make the references within the code more efficient. However, there is nothing efficient about this much code for two simple changes. In fact, what I can do is delete this entire code block, which records the first action that I made. Remember, the font Cambria also exists down here, so I'm not deleting any information. And also, I can delete everything else after name and size because nothing else changed. You should delete any lines you don't need, but also you should always run your code again to ensure you didn't delete something that's required for the macro to work correctly. So let's say that I switch back to the worksheet, Alt F11, and I change this display back to Calibri and down to 11. If I go into View and run the macro, everything looks the way it's supposed to. The with and with statements help make your code more compact and easier to enter. Also, when you record a macro and make several modifications to the same worksheet element, such as the font used to display a cell's contents, you'll find that Excel uses the with and with statement to group those changes into a single, easily readable code segment.